Hey, hi everyone. So in this tutorial, we are going to do a color grading. We will record the details on the face, blur away the highlight, and we will make it inspiring and eye pleasant. We will use repetitive adjustment layer until we get the desired result. Okay, so let's start the work. We will start by duplicating the layer and then applying shadows and highlight. We'll put shadow amount 30 and highlights amount 10. Okay, after that we are going to change the blending mode to darken and the opacity to 60, okay, 70%. After that we are going to add a curve adjustment layer and then we are going to create 3 points. Changing the settings of the point as required and desired will give the first point 61 and 73, second point 130, 129, third point 207 and 187. Okay, now at this point we are going to add a selective color layer adjustment. So every time I use this selective color, I go with first neutrals 8, -5, -12, 3. After that I go toward black -11, -3, -8, 3. Then reds. In red, cyan is going to 15, 15, -9, yellow -6, and black 25. Then after we are going on yellows, cyan -12, magenta 12, yellow 16, and black -31. Then whites to be cyan 23%, magenta 9, yellow -19, and then blacks -20. Now this end result is a little more bluish and we are going along with more blue on the way. So for more blue we are going to add one more adjustment layer, color balance, and we are going to do some arrangement here. Cyan in mid-tone, cyan and red, 5, magenta green -1, and yellow and blue -1. After that in shadows -5, -2, 3, and highlights -5, 2, and 6. Now for making it more bluish, I'm going to duplicate this color balance layer and changing the blending mode to color. Once more I'm going to duplicate it. So now it has become more bluish. At this point I'm going to add a adjustment layer of the curves for a little bit of contrast. So curves, as usual, making 3 points, 1, 2 and 3, taking the giving first point, input as 74, output 69, second point 137 and output as 133. Then the third point, input as 202 and output as 211. Now at this point I'm going to add a photo filter layer. So I'm using a filter as this cyan and the density going to be 10%. Now for retaining and recovering some color, I'm adding hue and saturation layer, adjustment layer, and putting the master hue to -5. At this point I want to adjust the only color of the face, so creating one adjustment layer of color balance and three -5 -3 -9 -5 -6 highlights 5 2 and -3. Now we are going to mask the color balance adjustment layer using Lasso tool. So select the Lasso tool and we just want to apply this on the face, so go with the face. We don't want it so to be perfect. Now press Ctrl Shift I for the inverse of the selection, then take the bucket and paint this area black, so the color balance will affect only the face. Now press Ctrl D for deselection. From masking, I remembered that we didn't mask the layer curve 2, so we are going to do the same with this layer. As we want the contrast on only specifically on the face, so you can see now the contrast is only on the face. And now at this point I want to blend some colors on the whole image except the face, so I am going with the selective color adjustment layer. So taking only the whites, putting this 18, changing the values for 13, desired result, you can see that some of the highlights have blown away from the background and his hoodie too. But we just want this layer affecting on only the background and other objects except the face. So we will mask this layer. Okay, so this layer is only affecting the hoodie and the background. In the mask you can see this white area is the affected area, the mask area, and the black one is the non-affected. So now at this point, here I thought the face was simply too red. It actually looks red. So I'm going to add Hue Saturation Layer and going in this reds and changing the saturation to -10, and then going to cyans, and then saturation, changing saturation value to 25 for more bluish color. So here we go. I just want this layer, this face more saturated, so I'm going to take one more adjustment layer, the vibrance. So adding the vibrance, I'm going with vibrance as 27 and saturation to be -70. Now select all layer, duplicate and merge them. So we have selected all layer. Press Ctrl J for duplication and Ctrl E for merging. So this is the layer we got. Now apply shadows and highlight. Shadows 5%, highlight 10%. Change the blending mode to darken and the opacity to be 40%. We want less highlights on the back and the faces, so we have applied this. Now what we are going to do, we are going to sharpen the image. So get back to the original image, duplicate it, go to other and high pass, and with the radius of 0.3 apply high pass. Now change the blending mode to linear light. So we can see we have done sharpening in all these areas. Now we are going to brighten the eyes and area near the eyes. So we are going to create new layer, rename it as left eye, and one more layer, right eye. Now go to the selection tool and use elliptical tool, create selection, use bucket, fill bucket, paint bucket, and paint it with white color. Press Ctrl D Now select right eye, do the selection, paint it and place Ctrl D. Now apply Gaussian blur to both the images of 20 pixels and this right eye, Gaussian blur 20 pixels. Now we have to before applying this we are going to first mask this sharpen layer to the area we don't want it, so we will fill it with black color, and then afterwards we are going to paint the area we want to be highlighted like this. Sharpen, change the opacity to 60 to 50, 48, whatever you want. Apply the sharpening brush on the eyes, both eyes, then hoodie, hairs, now change the opacity and paint the shoulders with less opacity. Okay, I, I I actually forgot this masking the layer. Now we are here, left eye and right eye. So now we are going to brighten the left eye by applying soft light and opacity to 40% and right eye to overlay and opacity to 40%. Now we are going to add adjustment layer, selective color, and going to the blacks, applying values. These are the values which I have applied before on this image, so I am applying it directly. This is too much. Okay, and now we are going to do a little selection as we want this contrast on his face. So we'll go with lasso tool and we will select right eye, cheek and a bit of forehead. So his forehead, his right eye and his cheek, and we will fill it with we will first inverse the selection and fill all the other things with black color. Control T. So we have applied the mask on his right face. Now at this point I'm going to add adjustment of levels. This to be 0, 1 and this point to 244. Now select face. Okay, with lasso tool we don't have to be perfect in this. And now I'm going to create one layer. uh, Control Shift I for inverse selection. uh, Sorry, first I will apply feather of 8 pixels, thereafter inverse selection, and now I'm going to add a color B8 BEE 9. Okay, and I will fill this the whole selection with this color except the face. Now I will change the blending mode to soft light and the opacity to 70%. So at this point I want to do a little contrast. I can do it with curves, but I'm going with gray layers. Name it as gray layers, gray, and I will fill it with 979797. Okay, I will fill it with gray, and I will change the blending mode to multiply and opacity 10%. Thereafter I will duplicate it and change the blending mode to soft light. Soft light and opacity to 80%. Okay, so here is a little difference. Now I will add a color balance layer, and I will balance the color tones. And highlights 5, 1 and 2. Okay. Now for more sharp, take this sharpen layer at the top. So here is the end result. Here is the final result of our image.